First of all, before I ask my question, the representative from the police that's here this evening, if possible please, I need to speak to you at the end of the meeting. It's regarding the appalling conduct of two of your officers today that nearly resulted in myself being arrested. I need to be told they've made a terrible mistake and I've got serious concerns, so if I could speak to you at the end of the meeting rather than speak about it now, I'd really appreciate it.
I think that would be very appropriate.
Okay, thank you. And I have a question for Councillor Wright. Before I ask my question, Councillor Wright, could you please ensure in the future that your Meet the Leader sessions are advertised? The one in Hall Church Sports Centre was only advertised, or it was actually mentioned on your Twitter, and I couldn't find it anywhere else. So I actually saw it when after the event had happened. And when I see the sessions, I usually put them on Twitter and put them on the internet. So if any of the members of the public need to, want to attend, at least they know about it.
As I understand it, and I've had it confirmed from my office manager, that it was advertised in the usual way. So it went out on Twitter, it went out on the blog, and it was in Living of Havering. Indeed, I had quite a few people. One man come from South Hornchurch, so obviously some people found out about it. But I'm sorry that you didn't hear about it the usual way.
It wasn't on the. Normally I look on Havering Council's website. I didn't see it on Havering Council's website. It wasn't on the website, no.
Thank you. I'll look at that.
Because I think that would be most people's...
Yeah, as I said, it normally goes out in the usual ways, but if you say it was on the website, I'll find out why.
Well, I'm glad some people turned up. Another question this evening. Back in May last year, I'm sure you recall, I raised concerns about the lack of primary school places in Havering, and he went on to explain that there wasn't much of a problem because many of the classrooms had been mothballed. And as far as you're aware, he was okay. It was only shortly after, and I'm sure it's because you wasn't aware of the facts, that all the expansions were announced, where existing primary schools have to be expanded substantially to allow for the extra primary school places that are now needed. And I noticed as well in this week's Romford Recorder that you were singing the praises of these expansions. I mean, I see the other side of this because I've heard from residents who live near towers who already suffer with congestion due to parents dropping off their children and picking them up. And these extra children is only going to add to the impact. Fair enough, the school premises no doubt can cope with the extra children, but the surrounding areas can't necessarily cope with the extra congestion that's going to be caused. But I'm just concerned with regards to the school year for September 2013. I know the Towers primary school is due to the extension should be completed by then. But what is the position with primary school places in September? I know we've also had an announcement that there's going to be a new free school, but that's not coming until September 2014. So I just wondered what the position was. And if I could also ask you as well, I understand that you've been to Dycourts now. You haven't given me any feedback. I mean, if you could give me some feedback via email, I'd really appreciate it.
Okay. I can certainly, I'm looking at, where is it? I'll make sure my office manager, Julian, will feed back on my visit to Dycourts. It actually was the day that I went ill. And so I was off then for 5 days, as you probably know, many others know. And hence I missed the full council meeting and everything else. So I'm just about still catching up with the stuff. But I had a very successful meeting to Dycourts, and there were a number of issues discussed. One of the issues was the car park, which I'm sorting out and trying to get it resurfaced as we talk. So I've left an instruction for that to be dealt with, and it is. School numbers, yes, very interesting. Council, like I suspect every council in the country at the moment, is dealing with the bulge in school numbers. There's a rise in population, and therefore we have an absolute duty to make sure there's a place in our schools for local children, which is something that we always pride ourselves on. We are planning, I can't remember the number, I think it's about 2,000 plus, I think it is, we need to find spaces for. And you're absolutely right. When we, a couple of years ago, back in 2007, when we had too many places, we mothballed quite a bit of our stock, and we're able now to bring that stock back into use. And we're doing that. In conjunction with that, we are building. The Bramford site is an interesting one. I was called in there because the school was in a pretty poor state. I was called in by the parents, and I went and had a public meeting with 300 plus parents, and I made them an absolute promise that I would sort their school out, and I was able to find some money, and we're building a brand new part of the school, and that means they're able to move out of the prefab, pre-war conditions that they were in, which were unfit, I believe, for the development of our children now. I didn't think it was a good learning environment, and therefore, that project was born. But, I've been the leader now for 9 years, and what happens is that with school places, and actually what you try and do is get a mean average through, so when it's on the downcline, you try to save stock, and when it's on the upcline, you kind of reopen those spaces. What I'm told, absolutely know, is that we will not be providing any temporary facilities, that we're able to meet our need at the moment within the school stock. But if that should change and we need to build, then we'll consider that as well. We have to be flexible as they move. Obviously, we work very closely with our colleagues in health, because they help us through monitoring births at the hospitals, so that we can kind of predict what's going to happen in the future, and that's really important. Obviously, we can't predict those who are going to move in, but what we can do is we can predict what's happening at the Queen's Hospital now, and that gives us some indication of the kind of planning that we need to do in a number of years' time for those new places. And last, you're absolutely right, the free school, which is badly needed in Romford, where there's a particular bulge at the moment, will come online and will be, if you like, I would hope, a fantastic facility that will serve that population.
Do we have any idea of the location yet? Because that was something that concerned me, the fact that they're announcing their opening in September 2014. It's in central Romford, and I'm just thinking, where in central Romford is it going to be?
There are 3 places that they're looking at, that they're in discussions with the DFE at the moment. I know of one of the places because they've asked me about it. The other 2 I don't know, but it's the thing about the current situations. In the past, all of this stuff was in the gift of the local authority. So the local authority, through its local education department, planned school places, run schools and everything else. Since the advent of academies and free schools, what happens now is schools have a one-to-one relationship with the DFE, and actually the only thing that the council provides for school services now is what we call school appeals, performance, and obviously the thing around places. And that's all we do. When you think about what we used to have, a massive, great big education department, which we no longer have because we just don't have, we don't do schools anymore. It's all out to academies and things, I'm afraid.
Can I just ask though, you still haven't actually answered the question about what the position is for school places for the new school year in September.
Sorry, what is the
position for school places, primary school
places,
for September 2013?
As I understand it, the last briefing I had from my cabinet colleague is that all places that we need to provide are being provided, and we don't need to open any temporary facilities.
So there's not going to be a massive shortage in September?
Not to my knowledge, no.
And can I just ask as well, do you ever look back at, the fact that we had so many school closures and now housing estates, do you not think it would have been, better to keep them schools open?
Well, we had 5 schools, didn't we, that we had to make a decision on, because at that time, the government of the day would only allow you to have, I think it was 7.5%, 8% capacity in the system. We had, I think it was 11.5%, 12%, I can't remember, it was 2007 now, so I'm trying to do it from memory. And so what was explained to me was for every space, every desk that wasn't filled was equivalent to £1,300 I wasn't spending on a child's education, I was spending it on an empty desk. And the government absolutely insisted that we got it down to, I think it was 6.5%, 7%. We actually got it down to 8%, 8.5%. We left some capacity in the system, but they were absolutely insistent. We were failing children's education to leave those empty schools open. And so what we decided to do was to concentrate on, because we've got very old stock in Havering, was to concentrate on closing those schools and using all that money to build new schools. So yes, we closed a number of schools, and yes, we built 2 brand new schools. And if you go to Elm Park or you go to Edwin Lambert, they are fantastic schools. with brand new facilities meeting modern educational needs. So absolutely, am I proud of that? Yes. It was the first school being built in Havering for 40 years, and it was done within the last 6 years, and I think it was the right thing to do. Well, you know that we've got some issues around providing houses for local Havering people anyway. We just don't have enough stock. So even with those developments, there's still quite a substantial number of people on our housing waiting list, waiting for houses. What I do like, I mean, if you go to the Dunford site and what that's being built out there, they are fantastic 3 and 4 bedroom homes for families, and that's exactly what we need for Havering families. We need to house Havering people, and that's what we should be doing, and that's exactly what we're doing.
Okay, if I could